Hey baddies, welcome back to the Baddest You podcast, where every listen takes you to the baddest version of yourself. I am your baddie level up coach, Ambria Hearty. Make sure you guys check me out on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Ambria Hearty. Follow the Baddest You podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And let's get into this week's episode. So we're going to talk about emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is how you master life. Mastering your emotions is the key to mastering your reality. So what is emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is the intelligence to slow down and interpret your emotions and also utilize them in a way that's effective to get in the outcomes that you want in life. So a lot of people don't really know how to master their emotions. Most of us probably weren't taught how to deal with our emotions in our youth. So when it comes to us being adults or teenagers, right, it can be really hard to handle the world around us when we have such huge, big emotions all the time getting in our way. But emotions are important, right? They're actually indicators. They're helpful for us. They teach us how we feel. They teach us how we feel about certain things. But the thing is, we have to know how to deal with these emotions when we're dealing with people, with circumstances, so that we can use our emotions to help us instead of them getting in the way of what we want to create for ourselves. So today I'm going to teach you guys how to master emotional intelligence. So the first thing that you should take in mind when it comes to emotional intelligence is take nothing personal. Everybody is projecting. Everybody and their mother is projecting. Projecting is the act of seeing oneself and another person and projecting their own internal fears and insecurities onto that person. See, we're humans. We're going to find ourselves getting triggered from time to time, especially when most of us have these inner child wounds or triggers that we went through, that we're currently experiencing on a day-to-day basis. Most people are walking trauma responses. And our brain likes to do this thing where it seeks out more experiences that affirms the beliefs that it already has. So when a person thinks that they're ugly and they see a person that's beautiful, their brain is going to once again look at that for a reason why they're ugly. Or if a person didn't come up with money and they see a person with money, they're going to look for reasons why they're not worthy of money. And so our emotions, feeling that energy of fear and feeling that energy of jealousy, anxiety, or whatever it is, we are going to find ourselves trying to attack the other person because we now see them as a threat because of our own internalized fears. And so that is why mastering emotional intelligence is so important. When somebody comes at you, don't take it personal. When you see something you don't like, don't take it personal, right? Nothing is personal. Everything has to do with everybody else or even yourself all the time. So the sooner you start to understand that, hey, that person called me ugly, but they probably just got insecure by my looks, or hey, I see this person right now and I'm getting anxious, but I'm realizing it's probably a me thing. Let me not take what they're doing personal. We can actually have more of a hold on our experience, slow down, observe, and respond in a way that's more effective to getting the outcomes that we want in life. This is why it is so important to observe your experience. Do not take everything and internalize it. To internalize means that when someone calls you ugly, you actually believe them or you feel the need to prove to them, right? When something happens to you and you lose a job, it triggers and reminds you of your feeling of not feeling worthy of security, and you start to react. And you once again internalize that experience and react to it. But do not internalize experiences. Start to observe the world around you. One of my favorite quotes ever is, you are simply experiencing. You are the observer of your thoughts, okay? And the more that we start tapping into this higher self-awareness where we observe everything, we take nothing personal, and we do not internalize things that happen to us, it helps us to slow down and choose our experience wisely. Because a person could call us ugly, and it could go one of two ways. One of many ways, really. You could get insecure, you can get anxious, you could feel the need to react, you could feel the need to prove, you could feel the need to get angry, or you could observe, see it as a projection, and say, you know, regardless of how that person feels, I know who I am because I know my worth. Which is why there is so much power in responding and not reacting to situations. Another great aspect of emotional intelligence. You have to slow down. You have to respond and not react. There's two differences between responding and reacting. See, responding is when you have a choice, where you choose to have a say to what's happening, opposed to reactions is when you're just reacting out of your feelings, reacting out of fear, right? So when it comes to a situation and you have this option to respond or react, most people, they choose to react because they don't know any better than to respond. They don't know they have a choice. They don't realize that they have a say to the experience that's happening to them. When you go through a lot of inner child wounding, when you go through a lot of experiences in your youth where you felt a lack of control, we can carry that energy with us into the present moment where we're like, you know what? I have to react. This person can't get the one up on me. This person can't. But it's like, you're always the main one of power in every situation. And a lot of people don't realize that. And they immediately give up their personal power to the thing they're dealing with. They immediately give up their personal power to that experience. But if you continue to maintain that power, and remember, I always have a choice. I can respond here. I don't have to react. I don't have to get anxious. I don't have to get angry. I can feel my feelings, but I don't have to act on it. Right? I can choose to respond. I can choose to observe. I can choose not to internalize. I can see it as a projection. Then we master and maintain our self-control. So when you do find yourself dealing with experiences that are not ideal, you can actually set boundaries against them. So setting boundaries is an excellent way to remain self-control and to effectively utilize that emotional intelligence. Boundary setting is the act of saying, no, I don't want that experience. No, I don't accept that treatment. No, I don't want to hear those words, because you always have a choice. So a lot of people, they actually use boundary setting as a way to try to control other people. You either have to do this, or here's my ultimatum. But whatever I told you, it's not about setting boundaries per se with the world around you, but having personal boundaries with yourself. I won't allow myself to be put in a position like such. I won't allow myself to react in this way. I won't allow myself to feel these feelings based on another person's actions. It's about having a relationship with yourself. And the more that you maintain this relationship with yourself and understand, you know what? I know this is happening to me. I know this is happening here, but I have a boundary with myself where I stay in my power. I have a boundary with myself where I don't allow myself to engage in certain behaviors, right? Because I know who I am. I sit on a pedestal. I sit on my throne, and some things are simply beneath my caliber, and I do not have to entertain it or engage with it or give it my energy. Because like I said, guys, you always have a choice. You always have a choice. That's the number one concept when it comes to emotional intelligence. The idea that you do not have to entertain, engage, or even deal with anything that does not match with what you desire. You do have a choice. When we deal with narcissistic energies in our life, when we deal with overbearing parents, when we deal with abuse and neglect and all of these things that we felt like we had no control over, we walk through a lot of our life feeling like we don't have control over those other experiences. But it's not about having control over the world around us. It's about having a choice on what you get to do next and believing in the power that you have to create the outcomes that you want to receive. So just remember, you are never stuck. When an experience is thrown at you, you do not have to say, oh, they threw this at me. What do I do? They put me in a corner. You can simply look at them and say, oh, look at this person. They're projecting. They're obviously afraid. They're insecure. But I'm not going to give them my power. Oh, look at this experience. You know what? I got fired. It is what it is. Let me see what my options are next. Because what's the point of choosing to stay stuck? What's the point of choosing to stay in a position where you don't have any power? That's not effective, and that's not going to serve you. And that's why I have a huge belief when it comes to having a victim mindset, that it's so important that you maintain your power no matter what the world around you shows you. When the second you step into a victim mindset, you say, hey, here's all my power. I can't do anything. Someone come help save me. But how does that serve you, right? How does that serve you to give your power up to a person or a situation or a circumstance and let them win, right? Let them decide what's next. One of my favorite affirmations is, I am the dominating force in my reality. I am the one who's creating no matter what. I am always in charge, and I am always in control. And you can easily do this by remaining your top priority, remembering what's most important. Let's say you were in high school, right? And you decided to leave class for a second, go to the bathroom so you can go back to class. And there was a bunch of mean girls, and they decided to talk about you. You walking in the bathroom, you know, washing your hands, about to step out, and they start talking about you, right? You have one of two choices. You can start taking it personally, feeling upset and reacting, or you could say, okay, you know what? My top priority is getting my education. I'm going back to class. That's not saying you can't set a boundary. That's not saying that you can't defend yourself, but it's important to remember what's most important. When our emotions arise and our emotions get in our way, it can cloud our judgment sometimes. And you have to remember, wait, I'm busy. Wait, I have a to-do list to do. Wait, I have a daily routine to get to. I have things I have to do. You have to have that boundary with yourself where you don't allow things that are beneath your caliber to affect the high caliber things you're doing, right? Like recording a podcast or starting to try to become president or recording your YouTube video, whatever it is, right? Stay focused on you as your top priority. However, these experiences in life can be challenging, right? That's not to say you can't feel your feelings. Please do. By all means, you should feel your feelings, but you should feel them in a way where you choose to respond instead of reacting. Choose your actions wisely. It's important on how you understand, okay, I can feel these feelings, but they do not have to determine the actions that I choose to take next. And it's really great, especially if you could take a step out, go in the bathroom, feel your feelings, if you could journal a little bit later about your feelings, but do not act based on your feelings, okay? One thing you guys have to take into consideration is your thoughts control your feelings, control your actions. If you can manage and be in control of your thoughts first, see yourself in a high self-concept, understand you deserve the best out of life, understand you have a bright future ahead of you, then your feelings in regards to situations will not be as reactive. Well, you won't feel the need to prove yourself to people. You won't feel the need to react to situations that don't deserve your energy, and your actions won't reflect that either. You won't find yourself going to jail because you got in a fight. You won't find yourself losing up an opportunity because you got too mad. You'll find yourself instead thinking and being future oriented. Be observant. Ask yourself, how are my actions going to affect what's next? So take a deep breath, pause, and think. Be future oriented. Don't just react. Feel your feelings in a safe space. Breathe. And if your feelings are too big, like I said, walk away. But think before you act. Be very aware of the consequences of your actions and decisions. I remember one time I was in 5th grade and we were doing a spelling show or something. We had to choose a word and we had to dress up or show some type of example of it. And my word was consequence, right? I just remember I was wearing a big dress of my mom's and I had on high heels and my word was consequence. And I said the consequence of me not eating my vegetables was I didn't grow up. And it was really cute. But even at that young age, I had this understanding that consequences are very real. If you are not in control of yourself, you will not be in control of the consequence that comes next. Because jail is really real. Death is very real, right? Circumstances and losing opportunities, that's very real. But that's why it's so important. How serious do you take yourself? Are you going to allow a person who just randomly came up out of your life out of nowhere to take you out of your power? Or if it's a person in your life who raised you, a person in your life who was there forever, a person who's giving you treatment you don't deserve, are you going to let a person who's intentionally trying to hurt you to win over you? Because people do things all the time to try to get you out of your power, to make you lose that opportunity, to make you lose that job. But you cannot give them that satisfaction. You have to remain in control of yourself at all times. Always be sure to act in your own best self-interest. Remember to stay grounded and focused in your value and your worth and who you truly are. And remember to stay focused on your perspective. When things happen, sometimes we can get overwhelmed. But if we know this is my intention in life, my focus for the day is going to the gym. My focus for the day is feeling peaceful. My focus for the day is getting these goals together. My focus for the day is taking care of me, getting my money together, whatever it is. If you can remain steady, focused, and grounded in your intention and what you are trying to create for yourself, you will not find yourself reacting to situations as much. Always remember what's most important. You, your future, your energy, and the things that you are meant to create in this lifetime. Do not get distracted by things that do not deserve your energy. If it's not adding to you, if it's not making you happy, if it's not paying your bills, if it's not taking care of you, if it's not making you, it does not deserve your energy. And that's when that personal boundary comes into place. I don't allow anything that's not adding to me to affect me. So know your worth, regardless of what's thrown at you in life. Remember who you are. You are a queen. You are royalty, right? When somebody comes at the queen, they got the guards to handle it, right? When something happens, the laws are there to handle it, right? When something happens, you don't have to get off of your throne to lower yourself to a person that cannot even meet you up there. Do not get off of your throne. Do not take off your crown to match energies and levels of situations that don't even deserve your focus. You're better than that. You're better than that. And you're a true baddie. Because there is so much power when you understand that you can always transmute any situation into being victorious for yourself. Take it as an opportunity either to heal. Why is this triggering me? How is this person affecting my feelings right now? Why am I affected by this thing? Okay, let me heal this aspect of myself. Ooh, okay, let me release this thing from the past. Or you can simply use it as an opportunity to be in your power, to set that boundary, and make sure you create that change moving forward so that you can get the outcome that you deserve. Remember, baddies, you are most in power, you are most in control. And the key to mastering emotional intelligence is slowing down, taking a breath, remembering who you are, where you stand on that throne, and choosing to respond instead of reacting. Because you're too bad to throw a beautiful life away because of someone who couldn't even touch your level if they tried. So when they can't reach your level, what do? Try to drag you down. Just remember, baddies, hurt people, baddies uplift other baddies. So give your energy to yourself, remain your top priority, and remember to master that emotional intelligence. Thank you guys so much for listening to this week's episode of the Baddest You podcast. Make sure you check out the Baddest You podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Make sure you check me out on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Ambria Harty. And I will see you beautiful and amazing baddies on next week's episode of the Baddest You. Bye, baddies. Mwah.